Today we are talking about love, magic, and hatred magic. So, I decided to make this video absolutely whispering just to try the concept. So, let me know in the comments how do you like that. Let's get started. Those who say that love came into the world with humanity are, of course, wrong. This is much more ancient. In the era of antiquity, it was believed that Eros was the first to emerge from the life-giving chaos. At the dawn of time, where would the other gods come from if not the power of fertility that Eros personifies? That is why the sorcerer, trying to subjugate the power of love, is dealing with one of the most ancient elements. If you think about it, love-inducing spells are not so different from causes, as a result of which the object should become exhausted from passion as if from a painful illness. But in fact, the most often the purpose of the spell was to cause not love, but sexual obsession. The ancient Greeks and Romans did not see much difference between them. We will consider both types of charms, and let's begin with love potions. First, let's talk about spells that inspire love. The one that ancient Greeks called philia, tender affection of the heart. It would seem, what's wrong with that? Agonistic charms usually called for help from some otherworldly entity, Hecate, Hermes, or one of the host demons, so that they would penetrate the soul of a victim. Since in such cases the result usually depended on the dose, the husband should think carefully about the prospect of the marriage. What kind of spouse did his wife really need? A gentle or dead one? Increasing the dose could not kindle the flame of love, but lead to death in the end. If the one who was going to use love potions was not himself an experienced chemist or sorcerer, he had to blindly trust the one who prepared the composition or gave out the recipe. From time to time, these love potions kill people. They should not be considered harmless. On the contrary, love elixirs can be much more dangerous than iconistic spells. It is unknown whether the summoned demons exist and whether they will respond to the call, but cyanide is quite real and works every time. How can one not recall the cynical American aphorism of the 20th century? Candy is good, but booze works faster. Therefore, very often the ancient Greeks and Romans preferred to simply use alcohol to kindle the flame of love. Food of love. The ancient Greeks and Romans believed that aphrodisiacs were abundant in plants. Following their tradition, we will not separate those that caused love from those that increased physical attraction. After all, experienced courtesans of the time noted that if one was awakened, awakening the other is the matter of technique. It would seem that aphrodisiac have nothing to do with magic, but this is only if we proceed from modern idea of magic. For our distant ancestors, charms and spells were as common as vitamin rituals or brushing teeth in the morning. Ancient actually increase sexual desire. Just to note, the gastronomic commandments of ancient Rome said that if the host does not want the feast to turn into an orgy, man should be served let along with the existing arugula. This is what is called balanced diet. Apples arouse sexual desire of a fair sex. Moreover, their effect was so strong that this is enough to simply throw an appetizing fruit in the direction of the lady. That is why the wedding ceremony of ancient Roman brides and grooms ended with a hail of nuts and apples, approximately as modern couples walk on a rain of rice and confetti. Sometimes Romans showered newlyweds with wheat. Grain is one of the oldest symbols of fertility, so different types of seeds appear on our menu. Iconistic magic, grow demons. Those who were not into potions making always had the option of calling the art worldly first to process the soul and the body of the object of passionate feelings by skillfully using charms, chants. One could order the nimble demon to deliver the beloved right to the door and already embraced by desire. Agonistic rituals were usually performed by men, while love potions were more often prepared by women. In the ancient world, love was understood as either a tender, protecting feeling, for example, of a mother for a child, or a furious lust of a purely sexual nature. Modern anthropologists claim that romantic love with bouquet, hearts, and walks under the moon did not exist in antiquity. The social construct appeared much later. In Middle Ages, love was a cruel obsession and a disease that the gods sent to cloud the mind of a previously sane person. Cupid, for example, he does not hold flowers and sweets. In his hands he has a bow and arrows. Even in the harsh antiquity, it was believed that in agonistic rituals there is not a lot of respect towards the object of witchcraft. Such spells cannot be called love spells. In essence, we are talking about rape through witchcraft. Those who cast the curse cared little about what the victim actually felt or how they lived. They were interested solely in submission. There was one Greek spell from Egypt. There, a man begged demons to drag his supposed lover straight to his home, and there were phrases like drag her by her hair, torment her soul and heart every day, every night, and every hour, so that she would come to me, be with me, become inseparable from me. This is a love spell, but in form and essence, it's not much different from a curse. The difference between a love spell and a curse is only in the intent of a sorcerer. Spells of hatred, curses. Many ancient tablets have been found with the content on them approximately as follows: so that your mind, memory, lungs, and liver would mix together. For obvious reasons, many curse tablets were created in a heat of emotion. Similar artifacts were found throughout the territory of all Hellenic states and the Roman Empire, but most often they are found in the graves of prematurely dead, as well as this moment, I try never to send any negative emotions to other people if we are like talking about basic everyday stuff, because it seems to me that this can very easily turn out sideways to me. But even with my own positive thoughts, I am extremely careful. Well, or neutral thoughts even. For example, there was a case I thought that it would be damn great not to work for a month, so that I would not have to go to work for a month and do anything. And a few days later, my child broke his arm and I sat at home for exactly a month. I certainly would not want to go to work in this way, so be careful. Otherworldly forces. This is very interesting and important difference between love spells and curses. Lovers willingly indicated their name, family, and even the address, so that the demon knew exactly where to deliver bewitched victim. However, the curse was usually preceded by special rituals designed to ensure complete anonymity for the customer. Fortunately, the ancient deities apparently did not have the gift of omniscience. Another important point, people often turned to the gods of the underworld. Scientists call the gods of the afterlife chthonic gods. Chthonic literally means underground. There are many of them, and each has its own functions, and in order to send a curse on an enemy, you need to know to whom to turn to. When turning to gods, people also called for help from demons or asked the god that these same demons would provide them with some services. But let's figure out who demons are, which Hecate, the divine of sorcerers, and other deities are so often asked to send to help sorcerers. In essence, demons are otherworldly forces that do dirty, hard work. Demons have a bad reputation in the Judeo-Christian tradition. They are associated with the underworld quite reasonably. However, the underworld itself is mistakenly identified with hell. In the view of ancient Greeks and Romans, a demon is an inhabitant of the other world, representing something more than a man, than a human, but not reaching the level of deity. Sometimes it can even be the spirit of a deceased hero. Demons wander through the kingdom of shadows and come when called. For example, by Hecate, those who decide to call on demons for help cannot be afraid of their intrigues. Contrary to what is said in the Bible, they are not at all evil by nature in antiquity. But if you need real bloodsuckers, turn to the daughters of Nyx, the goddess of the night. The Greeks called them Keras, not chthonic deities. Celestials such as Athena, Minerva, Artemis, Diana, and Apollo were rarely mentioned in curses. They could be called upon if the matter fell under their jurisdiction. The gods have many deities and broad powers. Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, was sometimes called upon to help ruin crops of the enemy's fields. For example, an interesting fact is that not only words and thoughts were used for cursing, ancient sorcerers often supplemented the curse with visual instructions through diagrams and first figurines with needles to indicate those parts of the body that should bring the greatest suffering to the victim. This part of the ritual is not a